What's up, good people? Woo! Y'all gonna have to lean in for this one. Get a little closer to your screen. Whatever you gotta do to get closer, excuse my voice. It's just one of those mornings, but I got a good word for you, and I need you to hear this clear. I need both ears and your heart, okay? Why do we speak our excuses into existence? Why do we speak our excuses into existence? There's been so many times where I'm not this, I'm not that, I don't do this, I don't do that we speak into existence, and it keeps us complacent for what God has for us. And I'm gonna go into a little bit of detail about this so that you can fully grasp this, because this is something that hurts us as believers. This is something that hurts non-believers who want to have faith. And we cannot maintain this because it's not of God, okay? There are too many people that constantly make an excuse to keep them complacent. And we have to realize that comfort will get you nowhere in life. If you're always comfortable, it means you're not growing. There's no stretch. Your capacity isn't getting fuller for what God has for you. You're unable to even carry the same blessings that you secretly are praying for and not believing that you'll get. And there are too many of us, way too many of us, who live our excuses. I'm not a morning person. That's why I can't get up and go to church. You keep telling yourself what you're not, and you're becoming what you don't want to be. What if God showed up the way you showed up, with an attitude, with I'm not a morning person, or you know, I'm really busy. We're always busy when it comes to stuff that we don't want to do. But when we get outside of our comfort zones, when we start to really dig deep into what God has for us, into our purpose where we can actually be fulfilled, you'd be amazed at how different your perspective shifts. You'd be amazed at how dependent you are on an alarm clock, but when you can get up on your own because you know God's got more for you. And then what really grinds my gears is how we ridicule leadership as if they're not a person too. We ridicule the same people that God entrusted to lead us so bad to maintain our own comfort. Can you imagine having to get up and talk or lead ungrateful people? And some people might go, oh, that's not me. It probably is you. Even sitting back and being quiet. Sometimes there's simple things like, thank you, or, oh, that's a good point. But instead, when people get up in front of us to talk, to present, even to share ideas, what we do is we try to look for a way to tear them down as if it builds us up. We're sitting there and we're hanging on to every single word they're saying, just looking for them to make a mistake, or, oh, they said, or they stuttered, they might not be sure about themselves. All we're doing is pointing out our own insecurities. But we cannot let our excuses become our existence. Start telling the truth of who you are. If you're not a morning person, say it from a responsibility purpose. I struggle to get up in the morning because I'm not invested in what I'm doing. I'm not living my life the way I want to, but I'm also not willing to make the changes in order to live that life. And when we begin to expose our true character, that's when we can build our true character. That's when we can build off of God's promises and God's purpose. And then again, when you do that, it shifts your perspective. A lot of us just have this terrible perspective, but yet we want purpose and we want position and we want to be promoted and we want to be prosperous. But our pride keeps us contained in complacency. And I'm sorry to get so passionate about this, but I've watched so many of my friends, so many of my family members, so many people in ministry sit here and pray and beg and hoop and holler and criticize and tear down the same things that they don't do, or the same things that they do in somebody else as if they're better. God didn't make us to be prideful. He made us to be purposeful. God made us to be passionate, not passive or passive aggressive. But until we address those things, until we move forward, until we stop letting our excuses become our existence, we'll be in the same place. Like God work.